Good evening. It's good afternoon. I'm doing an early taping today. Um, or early live. And I want to get on because I meant to do this earlier, but I decided to wait. Had to take care of a few things. But if this is your first time, welcome to the Healing Room Tarot. This is yours truly, Magoon, also known as B. And I just wanted to kind of reverence um, that this is Women's History Month, and so I'll be rep. I was about to say recognizing. That's what I want to say. I'll be recognizing four different women throughout this month, one a week, and just kind of talk about their lives, especially as it pertains to this platform. There's a lot of controversy about this lady that I'm going to bring up, but um, I will say this: I looked up to her, uh, and I respected her, and even finding out later that she may or may not have been a fraud. Just going to throw that out there. Um, I could see, I can see that there was a different purpose for her life. Some may agree with me, some may not, but hear me out. So the first lady that I would like to recognize is the Sylvia Brown, the world-renowned psychic Sylvia Brown. And so there's a lot of controversy saying that she had a lot of things wrong, and there was a few things that she got right. And so, and she did have like this attitude. I'm not gonna lie. I do remember her, Sylvia, having this attitude out of nowhere, like, okay, babe, you can say it is what it is, but I'm telling you, this is what it is, right? Um, but where I respect her is that up until then, I do not recall having any other person being online talking about spiritual gifts, talking about mediumship, talking about being a psychic and tapping into the future, about having visions. And so if many of you if you haven't come across any other video, I'll say it again. But growing up, I used to see things. I used to have a certain experiences and could not explain them. Could not share them with people because I'm like, would anybody believe me if I told them I would see shadows walking across the room? Like, would anybody believe me if I'm telling you I'm seeing dead people, I'm seeing ghosts, I'm hearing them? Like, would you all believe me off my word? And so one of the things that Sylvia Brown did is she normalized it for a lot of people. So a lot of people will say, "Oh, well, she wasn't a real psychic." Okay, no, but she was the beacon of light for a lot of the seers. In fact, I was even not talking, but I was watching a video on YouTube, and a young man said, I remember her, but the first recollection I got was off the Montel Williams show." Exactly. Montel Williams was everybody's favorite talk show host at the time, male talk show. In fact, I think he was the only male talk show host at that time, because the only during the daytime, because the other one was Arsenio Hall and it was like night. And then his show eventually went off the air. But Montel Williams still kept going. And so if you grew up around that time, that same time, if you are an early to late 80s baby, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. In the early 90s, um, you would often see psychic Sylvia Brown. And but there's a lot of truth to what she said. And I want to make it a point that we each have our own walk. Our gifts are our gifts. Our platforms are our platforms. It doesn't take away the knowledge that we give. If it is truth, it is truth. But if the truth is coming out of somebody that is false, it still does not make the truth false because of the person. The truth is not validated by the person. The truth validates itself. And I'm saying that because you even have, I grew up in an era where there were pastors that would preach one thing and it was true. What they were saying was true, right? It was true to the word. It was true to what people were going through. It was true to how people were living their lives. But in turn, their lives were in shambles. They weren't living what they were preaching, which is where we get the term practice what you preach. Because a lot of preachers were preaching one thing but doing the opposite. And it goes across the board. And that's what I tell people, like spirituality, no matter what you practice, spirituality is on its own playing field. You call it tomato, I call it tomato. It doesn't mean that it's not, it's a different fruit. It's just called another name, right? And so even with discussing about Sylvia Brown, we have to understand that she may have believed, she may not have believed, she may have tricked people about her being a psychic. But one thing you can't deny is that she brought it to the forefront of the table. She brought the different types of gifts to the forefront of the table. She talked about how God had given us these gifts to the forefront of the table because for so long psychics were deemed demonic. And for the love of me, I'm just like, psychics and prophets are one and the same. The difference is, I mean, there's a very thin line, thin difference. And honestly, it's the title. So what if you go by psychic and not a prophet? Is it not the same? And I know there's some people that say, oh, well, prophets can declare. We all can declare things. It's already known that we cast spells in the way that we talk. So that's why we have to be careful with how we talk. And I've always shared that the spiritual realm is always listening, it's always grasping for what we are saying and putting out into the universe. And so, yes, that's why, I tell people, speak the opposite of what your situation is. You could be broke right now, but if you walk around saying, I have money in my pockets, I have money in my pockets, I am wealthy, you will start to get money. I did it as a kid. I promise you. I did it as a kid, and my mom couldn't understand. People started giving me money out of nowhere. My mom said, why do people keep giving you money? And I said, because I keep saying that I have money in my pockets. And she said, well, maybe you need to start saying that over me. And it was, I'm laughing because I remember having the conversation. Like she just looked at me. She said, "Why people keep giving you money? Are you asking for money?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not asking anybody for money. They just come up and give." One lady literally gave me $10. She said, "I just love your smile, sweetie. Here, just take this." Like, okay, you know, and and it goes to show, like, whatever you speak, you will attract. Right? These are some of the things that Sylvia Brown was teaching us. She was telling us, like, she was teaching us about the laws of attraction, spirituality, gifts, situations in which we can, and how we can use the gifts, right? How we can determine if we have psychic gifts and abilities. And for like the longest time, it was just something I did. I didn't even recognize it as a sight gift. I didn't recognize it as an intuitive gift. It was just me, right? And then when I got older and started to have other experiences, and I'm like, wait, now hold on. Now I'm having some other experiences that I can't explain. So I had to look them up. And I'm looking them up and I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe I am a seer. Maybe I am a seer. And then I get around other people and they're like, oh, yeah, you have seer eyes. I don't know what that is. I just know that I have my eyes. And you may not can tell on the camera, but I have brown eyes. I don't have black eyes. I have brown eyes. A lot of my cousins, we have brown eyes. It's just one of those things, one of our trademarks. And it's funny because our other cousins always talk about it. And so I'm like, but I have like the same color eyes as everyone else. How is it that I'm different? I don't know what makes the difference. If you can tell me, if you're watching this now or later, you can tell me. I won't be offended. But either way, um, Sylvia Brown was that beacon to kind of shed light on for those that would awaken in the future. We have a reference point. And sometimes you have to understand that spirit will use something or someone to be like a beacon, to be a point of reference for someone else, so that when they wake and they can, oh, this is what such and such was talking about, right? Because even for you looking at me now, you can't tell when I get a download. You don't know when you can't hear what I hear. You can't smell what I smell. You can't feel what I feel because you're not me. And there is this gamble when it comes to intuitives and psychics and tarot readers and things of that nature. There is that question like, are they really who they say they are? And can I trust it? Because there have been a lot of scammers. But what I can say about this is that the truth will always be the truth. The truth will always be the truth. And you can recognize truth speakers by the lives that they live, by the way that they talk. If you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to hide. And I often tell people that a lot, you can tell when somebody's hiding something because they move different. It's almost like nervousness, and it's like they feel very uncomfortable. They look uncomfortable, and they look like in their minds they look like nothing's going on. But for the outside world looking in, we're just like, what's wrong with you? You are over there fidgeting. You're over there nervously talking. What is your problem? What's going on? What's going on up here? Like, and we don't know what is going on, but we just know your actions. And when your actions are making a louder statement than what's coming out of your mouth, that's all we have to go off on. And so that's why I always tell people, like, you may see me do different things, but that's just how spirit is using me. Like, I really want to pull cards, but I really feel like that I may not be pulling cards today. I don't know. I might but just pull cards just to pull cards, honestly. But I did want to talk about, the fact that we are in a different time. A lot of people are awakened, and a lot of us were a part of that crowd that that had Sylvia Brown in our lives. There was a lot. We also had I forgot her name now, but um she was exposed pretty fairly quickly. Oh gosh, I can't think of her name. She was a Jamaican woman. And she posed as a psychic reader and collected thousands of dollars from people and things of that nature. And so, um, that yeah, I'm getting something right now, so give me just a second. I don't know who needs to hear this, but I still heard that what I was hearing is abundance is still abundance. It doesn't matter if you make it or if I provide it to you. Abundance is still abundance. Um, and that is in reference to me saying that you will know who's telling the truth. because you should see some type of abundance within that person's life. It doesn't have to be monetary abundance. It can be abundance of something. Like, I have a lot of hair, right? And let's just say you all notice that my hair starts to thin out. And you're just like, what's going on with Magoon's hair? What's going on with B's hair? You know, and it's that thing where I'm starting to do something corrupt. So now Spirit is like, now I'm gonna strip you of your hair. That's losing abundance. Um, so it doesn't have to always be monetary. And some people don't get that. Some people, that's why you see people who slight people and they're like, why are they still doing this? Don't they see their bodies dwindling? No. They don't see that they start having health issues. They don't see that they start having other types of issues because they are dealing with people in the wrong manner. They really don't. They are so consumed with being corrupt that they don't see what's happening all around them. And then some people get publicly ousted and publicly shamed because they continue to do these things to people. So that's why I also tell people, like, when people slight you, don't think that they're getting away from it, because karma will come for them. God will punish them. Your ancestors will punish them. And I always tell people, I am a protected being. Be careful with me. Be careful how you speak over me, speak to me, speak around me, whatever. Be careful, because if it's life threatening, if it's spiritually threatening, if it's career threatening, if it's anything towards me that is a threat, I promise you it will come back to you. And that's on anybody, family. There's a reader that I watch, and I absolutely love how she says it. And she says, friend, fan, family, foe, or hoe. Sometimes she say a hoe. Um, and I just laughed and I was like, oh, I like that. Friend, fan, family, foe. It doesn't matter. If you speak against me, it's going to hurt you. And why? Because some of us, some of the readers um, that are here now are, we have missions. We were sent with specific missions. And I do believe that I am one. Um, Not patting myself on the back and trying to push myself up like that. That's not what I do. But if you really understood the different types of encounters that I've had, the people that I have dealt with, you would understand um, and know where this is coming from. But I do know that when you are true to what you've been called, doors are open for you. Things will become easier for you. Uh, People may not understand your walk. You're often questioned a lot. And people say it's the naysayers, but it's not. I mean, it's naysayers, it's people that are jealous of you, but it's also because um, they don't have that same calling. And when people don't have that same calling as you, they don't see the same things in the way that you see them. Men, you can be looking at it. Thank you. We can be looking at the same text. You comprehend it one way and I comprehend it the other. And because of that, we each have our views on the text. And that is how spirituality works. And that is why so many people are against it. But it's based off of experience. It's based off of understanding and comprehension. And that's something that I've realized that a lot of people do not have. So at this point, if you're an adult and you don't know how to comprehend things, I honestly don't know how. It's one of those things where you have to ask Spirit to open up your understanding and your comprehensive skills. All right, so I am going to get into the cards because there are so a few cards just here. We have the Three of Pentacles, working on something. There's some things that you've been working on that's going to bring you some wealth. Nine of Cups is here. It's going to bring health and happiness to you. And it's going to come, oh, this is in reverse. So it's not, I was going to say it's going to come quickly, but because the Eight of Wands is like a quick, it's like a quick message. But because it's in reverse, it's not going to become as quick as you think it is. And I believe that it's because you have to master the craft first. Once you master it, then it's going to come in. But a part of mastering it is making sure that you don't feel like it's not going to work. You got to have confidence in yourself. Um, this is what I'm getting with this Five of Cups here. Um, and then there was the after the Five of Cups, there was the Ace of Cups, which means once you get the confidence. Thank you, Spirit. Let me just pull it out and show it to you. Let me just pull it to you. So once you get out of this Five of Cups, you notice there's four cups that have been drained, but the fifth cup is behind her right arm, right? There's that one cup there. Once you get out of um, this mode of not being confident and you get into confidence, you go to the Ace of Cups, meaning, okay, I'm taking this one cup and I'm making it work. I'm making it work in my favor. It's that I know it's going to work. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you do, what you think. It's going to work for me. It may not have worked for you. It may not have worked for them, but I'm telling you, it's going to work for me. And as you're taking that confidence and you're moving forward and you're going along with it, you're going to start seeing things happen for you. Doors that was once closed are now open for you. People that didn't support you before are now going to start supporting you because they're going to start see that's what you was working on. That's what you were valuing. Absolutely. And sometimes it takes you having to put that foot forward. I was watching something on Instagram and they were talking about like a plus size model, and his platform is all about confidence. And he said, I wear these things because I'm confident in my body and in my skill set. And I don't care what your opinion of that is. I have the confidence to do what I do, right? And someone, I was having a conversation with someone, and they said, it's about confidence for me. It When somebody can walk in a room and just demand confidence, it's like who is that? Like they just came in demanding the room, right? They come in demanding the room because they know who they are. Um, I want to say the word that's coming to me now. I think Monique said it in her charm school, and she was, and it goes become and I do know that it's in these deck of cards too. Become unfuckwithable, meaning don't let you can't fuck over me. You can't fuck with me in any kind of way. And when you get in that type of attitude, it's like you're gonna do what? You gonna say what to who? Are you sure you talking to the right one? Because the right one is not me, baby. It's that type of energy. And what that is you're putting down boundaries. You're pushing yourself forward. You have the self-confidence. That self-sabotage is out the window. It's like I've learned my lessons. I'm not going back to that place. Before I go back to this place, you're going to see a new side of me. You're going to see a new society that you never knew existed because of me. You're going to lose some very valuable things because of me. And that's why um it's important that you don't put your mouth on people, that you don't do things to people in a negative way, because what happens is knowing who you are and believing in yourself, right? It does go with the saying of know those who labor among you. It also goes with, be mindful of what you watch on TV. The truth is always, even in a lie, the truth is there. You just have to figure out what is the truth and what is the lie. So I just had to share that with you all. But thank you for tuning in. And if you're not tuning in live now, but you're tuning in on the replay, thank you for doing that. And I just ask that you like, you share, and you subscribe. Okay. And if you are on the YouTube and you would like to follow me on Instagram, here is my Instagram name. It is healing_room_tarot. And if you are on Instagram and you would like to see the videos later, please go to the link underneath my name and you can find the YouTube videos there. So thank you for tuning in and you have a good rest of your day. Thank you.